Dixon County Commission meeting for September 26th to 2024 to order. Please stand for flag salute.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The approval agenda is printed with no additions.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consent agenda, minutes of the 19th September meeting, payroll of $396,069.06.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Commissioner comments and committee reports. Lynn?
Earlier today, I attended the Military Affairs Council breakfast over at Junction City. Attorney General Chris Kobach was the speaker. They had a lot of people turn out. There's quite a community partnership, you might say, with Manhattan, Riley. There is actually someone there from Wamego that I spoke to, and they had a son that had just taken a job at Land Pride as an engineer and moved here. So it shows some of the economic outreach that we have locally. But anyway, that's was kind of the main thing that General Kobach talked about, some of the current issues that are going on that impact Kansas and in a kind of indirect way impact the military parts as far as Fort Riley and foreign ownerships and things like that. So that's it.
No
comment this morning.
No. This morning in our work session, we had Chris Ann Phillips from the 8th Judicial District come in and reviewed the drug court, recovery court. Right, Doug?
Right.
Okay. Reviewed how that was going and very successful. And they are going to be starting it in Erie County after the first year. Dustin Parks, our IT guy, was in and spoke about some of the upgrades and challenges they're having. We could have, Microsoft
updates.
Yeah, Microsoft updates are going to be a little more expensive than what we thought. Anything else?
The undersheriff was in.
Yes, undersheriff was in, but we'll talk about that when we take the bids. Let's see, where do we go to next here? Presentation, proclamations, none. Public comments. Anybody online or Marla or?
No.
Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. We need to have, I forgot it wasn't on the list.
Yeah. Hang on a second. I have to put a statement. For the Open Meetings Act, KSA 75-4317 and 75-4318A, as the elected board, the county commission is not allowed to meet or make any decisions without posting the meeting. They are only allowed to act on items on the agenda which they set. During their regular meeting, the county commission may allow for public comments on items not listed on the approved agenda. If you wish to provide comments, please come forward to the podium and state your name and address. If you are online, raise your hand and we will unmute you. State your name and address. Each person may speak for 3 minutes. The allotted time will start after the speaker has given his or her name and address. Public comments shall be addressed to the county commission only and not to the speaker or the audience. Only the county commission will be permitted to ask the speaker questions. The public comment period is not a back and forth discussion with the county commission. You should make your views and input known to them, but it is not a time to ask questions. You should not expect them to respond to your comments. Comments may express support or agreement with the previous speakers, but in the interest of time, please do not repeat the same information. You may state something to the effect of your name and address, and I agree with the previous speaker. It is important to maintain a respectful, non-threatening atmosphere for anyone who would like to speak. Please do not engage in such actions as cheering, booing, clapping, insults, threats, etc.
Now we can go.
I'm anxious to hear what I've got to say. Irely Bernard, 962 300 Avenue, Hope. And good morning, everyone. It's such a pretty day. I have another picture for you today. This was taken 700 feet above the city of Hope, and I will share a copy with each of you. Okay, there are 3 topics I want to mention today: wind turbine height, infrasound vibrations, and turbine decommissioning. Number 1, height. Proposed Dickinson County turbines will increase in height 40% over those in Marion County. That's a lot. A report from Popular Mechanics speaks about the rush to produce taller and taller turbines. But in the rush, quality control of new designs is sacrificed, project delays increase, repair costs rise, and failures are happening in a shorter time on new turbines. The report states, quote, "The bigger the turbine, the more that can go wrong and the farther it falls." There are other ways that taller turbines can go wrong. Radar beam blocking is a serious effect. The taller the turbine, the more potential blockage interference. This means weather forecast information regarding storms, including tornadoes, go undetected. This is a direct danger to everyone in Dickinson County and surrounding counties. Number 2 is infrasound. Wind turbines generate 3 types of sound: aerodynamic, which is a swish; mechanical is grinding; and infrasound, which is low frequency vibrations. We can't hear these, but we can feel them. So the swish, an example would be the oil leaks that I took pictures of and showed you last week. When I was out there, I could hear the swish of the blades turning. The mechanical grinding, I was out probably last spring. I saw flowers along the roadside. I stopped to take some pictures and I heard this grinding noise. And I looked, and just some distance away, there were 2 turbines making this noise, and it sounded like rocks inside just rolling around. I was surprised by that. And the third is the low frequency vibrations. And I think everybody's experienced this. If you've had a car pull up beside you that had their radio going with music on and the bass on it, you could feel the vibrations in your car from just sitting next to them. So infrasound behaves very differently from audible sound. Infrasound can get louder over certain distances. This has raised concern about potential health risks to nearby residents. Turbine infrasound is different than other sources because it is present over long periods of time. Infrasound vibrations carry deep into the ground as well as great distances above ground. And number 3 is decommissioning. Decommissioning is full of uncertainties and extremely underestimated. There are a few examples to follow here in Kansas, and turbines have popped up so quickly, and most are just beginning to reach decommissioning stage. So it's kind of hard to tell, from our own experiences here. Harvard Business Review says the most significant cost escalation is likely to occur in decommissioning. This is a complex and expensive endeavor involving disassembly of turbines, removal of foundations and cables, and responsible waste management. There are already dumps across the country overloaded with huge turbine blades. And this is because the blades have to be replaced so often. In the rush and the push by wind turbine companies to get their government subsidy, it becomes easy to overlook the unreliability and importance of decommissioning. And personally, I don't see any reason to rush into construction. Waiting to see what happens in other counties seems reasonable to me. I have a firsthand example I want to share with you of turbine installation problems in Marion County. Promises were made to the Marion County community by the wind company and not fulfilled. They used water for construction from the local rural water district and refused to pay bills for many months until threat of legal action. Water lines were all marked for them, but they broke the water lines by driving heavy equipment over lines without the promised protection. The company did not repair or pay for the broken lines. And I know this all for a fact because my husband was on the Rural Water Board at this time. So from my point of view, we're being rushed into this, and there's been a lot of secrecy about it. I'm going to share the pictures with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody online?
Nobody has their hand raised.
Moving on, report of county officer, Janelle.
Commissioners, so it was time for us to purchase diesel fuel. We received 2 bids, sent out 3. Robson at 2.572, MKC at 2.608. No bid from Sapp Brothers, so the bid was awarded to Robson. Our county appraiser is hosting the North Central Kansas County Appraisers Association on Friday, which is good. They are also wrapping up their maintenance work, new construction review, and building permits. EMS director will be performing school inspections this week. So that's where he goes out and looks at the 5 school districts on their medical side and answers any questions that they would have. Health Department flu clinics are coming up. We've got 2. The first one will be October 8th at the Harrington Community Building from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. And this is a walk-in clinic. And the second one will be October 9th at the Dickinson County Health Department from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Highway Department is out blading roads on 3400 Avenue, 1900 Avenue, and then the loop over there by Chapman. Highway Department's also finishing out the final mow out of the season. And as we talked about earlier in the study session, right now we're running 1 mower. We normally have 2, but we've got 1 that's down. So we'll get that back in working order as soon as possible and continuing that. They're Durapatching on 1400 Avenue near Woodbine. They're currently replacing a 20-foot structure in the 1500 block of 2900 Avenue. The forestry mulching, they're using the rental of that machine on Solomon Road. And if you have a chance to go out at 14th and Van Buren, they have mulched on the south side. They have done a little bit on the north side as well, and we'll still wait until we get closer to the leaves falling off before we finish that up. And there's some big trees that we won't be able to get down without hiring that out.
Yeah, I don't know if either one of you have been out there, but it really opened the side of view on the south side. It really increased the view, vision.
It absolutely did. And I had a call from a citizen about that as well. And they thank you for taking care of that. And I think Jeannie will touch on this last one. The other thing I wanted to mention is on September 30th at 5:30, I'll be attending a core community assessment night. And that's to discuss local resources that we have in the county. They're probably going to be talking about some of the issues that we're facing with poverty, with drug abuse, things like that. So I'll attend that meeting and then I'll have a report for you next week on that. So.
Any questions for Janelle?
Questions?
Good.
Thank you. We've been working with the recovery court, and that's going well. A lot of good people are putting in a lot of good hard work with that, and we're seeing some really good progress. By the same token, there's some that stumble, but the numbers are good on the recovery, and that's good to see. And all of those that are working with that are doing a very good job. So Leah has helped provide some information as we get geared up to move forward with the real estate tax foreclosure sale. And I have quite a number to work with, but we'll make it happen. So we're in the process of bringing that together, and that's where we stand right now.
I mean, those have been, I know there was 40 originally, but there's still,
40
but I mean.
originally. I think we've had 1 that's been paid, so we're
Okay, that's fine.
dealing with 40
Yeah, okay.
parcels.
But you don't have a date set yet, quite yet.
No.
No, that's a little bit of work yet.
Yes. Yeah.
Ron, any questions?
Good.
Jeannie, you want to give kind of an update on your machine you bought and the upcoming election?
The machines are supposed to be arriving today. They weren't here yet. checked on our break. And I also wanted to let voters know that voter view is up. So if you want to see a sample ballot, you can either go to our website and elections and see voter view there, or you can Google voter view Kansas. It will come up, or you can go to the Secretary of State's website and they have a link there that you just put in your first name, your last name, your date of birth, and it will bring up your ballot, your sample ballot. You'll go down a ways and then it says sample ballot, and you click on that, will show a sample ballot for you. We also are going to be open for extended hours on October 22nd, which is a Tuesday. We will stay open till 7 o'clock that night for early voting. And then on Saturday, October 26th, we will be open from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for early voting. The canvas, we will have our canvas on November 14th at 12:30 here at the commission meeting room. And some of the important dates, Tuesday, October 15th is a deadline to register to vote. Wednesday, October 16th is the first day that we will have early voting at the courthouse, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then those extended hours. And then Tuesday, October 29th is the last day to apply for advanced voting. And then that stops on Monday, November 4th at noon. And then, of course, Tuesday, November 5th is the election, and our polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Any questions for Gina? Moving on then, notices and communications, we have none. Introduction to consider resolutions, none. Unfinished business, none. Other business, consider purchase of sheriff's department vehicles. Now,
Commissioners, as you know, we routinely or annually purchase sheriff's vehicles, replacement when they get about 130,000 miles on them. Some are more, some are less. And with the struggle in getting vehicles, which we've seen, the sheriff's department is requesting that we go ahead and order the vehicles now and take possession of them after the first of the year. They are looking at vehicles from Superior Emergency Response, which is SERV, and that's who we've used. They have the state contract. Last year we purchased Durangos, and this year they would like to move to the Ford Explorer because of the issues, maintenance issues that we've had with the Durangos. So what this will be is a 25 Ford Police package vehicle, which is going to be a heavier duty frame, heavier duty shocks, brakes, things like that, that you're going to need as a police department or sheriff's department. And they would also install all of the equipment. If there's equipment that we can take out of the Durango and move to the Ford Explorer, then we will definitely do that. Some of it also is not compatible, so we'll have to replace that. So the quote that we received is for $59,978.60 per vehicle, for a total of $179,935.80 for the three. And this would come out of the capital equipment fund.
Marcus, you might let us know that we didn't quite expect to cost that much.
Marcus, Assistant County Administrator. We had originally penciled in $55,000 per unit. So then coming in at around 59,000 did a little over, was a little over what we budgeted. One way that they're able to make up that difference is we will sell the used items on Purple Wave, and that revenue that comes back in will actually go back into that equipment reserve. So a lot of that and a lot of these opportunities will actually be able to cancel out that difference. So although it's coming in a little higher than we expected, I think in the long run, it may actually be lower than that 55,000 if you include the revenue of the sold items at the end of it.
Any questions for Marcus? No. If not, I have a motion to approve the vehicles.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the three vehicles.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Do you want to give the price again, Janelle?
All three of them would be $179,935.80.
Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Future meeting and agenda items. We're going to have an Attorney General quorum meeting here October 10th at 9:30 in the County Commission Chambers. There'll be the public and zoning public hearing and the wind farm CUP October 10th, 2024, 4 p.m. at the Harrington Community Center. And the offices will be closed staff development day, October 14th at 8 a.m. We'll be meeting at Pearl Hall. Anything else to come before the commission? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Been moved, seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Stand adjourned.